What's going on, Who Dat Nation? As always, I'm your boy O. Today, we're going to be talking about the Saints' devastating loss to the Cincinnati Bengals, 30-26, and also what I think the referees should have done on that last play. Now, look, before we get into that, do your boy O one major favor. If you love getting loud and also believe you got to fight, then that means that you love talking about the Saints and the Pelicans, so we have that in common. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell. And as always, make sure you hit that like button to help me out with that algorithm, baby. Now, we're going to get over these numbers real quick and also go through some first through fourth quarter notes so I can get to that damn last call at the end of the game very quickly. Now, the Saints will put up 22 first downs. They was 8 for 17 on third down efficiency. They put up 171 yards passing, 228 yards rushing, total yards 339. The defense will give us 3 sacks, 1 touchdown, and the Saints also had the time of possession by 32 minutes. This is why this is a devastating loss. They did pretty much everything right, and they still came out with the L. Now, as far as quarterback play, Andy Dalton was 17 for 32 attempts. He completed only 53% of his passes. That was kind of, expected, especially with the whole wide receiver core out. I'm really shocked that the Saints was even in the game this long, and led pretty much all game with the wide receiver core being out so goddamn, so much, He would get 162 yards and 1 touchdown. He have a QBR of 77.9. Very disappointing QBR. Our lead rusher would be Alvin Kamara, who had 19 rushes for 99 yards and a 5.2 yard carry average. And our leading receiver was Traquan Smith, 100% 3 for 3, 43 yards, 14 yard average, and 1 touchdown. Now, let me go over some of my first quarter notes here. Okay, as you know, the game started out pretty slowly. The second possession for the Bengals, they fumbled the ball, which led to Andy Dalton touchdown, and that was a 18-yard touchdown. Right, that was an 18-yard touchdown. It was beautiful. Andy Dalton put it right on the money. You felt as if the game was going to be in your favor for the rest of the course, right? And also, one key thing to note here is the Saints only averaged 7 points for the first half of the first 3 games of the season. And we end up putting 20 points up, but the second half, not so much. We're going to get down to that. So we slowed down in the first quarter, right? All right. That's it about the first. Open up the second quarter, and what's his name again? I can't forget his. I can't think about his name. I forgot to write it down, man. I'm sorry about that, you guys. I forgot to write the rookie name down. I believe he's number 88. Shottered, I believe his name. Shottered, I think that's his name. Well, he gave us a 44-yard rushing touchdown around the back, swift play, straight to the wide receiver, cut up the field, bam, beautiful, glorious play, rightfully called, perfect timing. Bengals was unexpected, expecting it, right? Second possession of the game, the Saints would go down and get a three field goal. That's all. That was the only 2 touchdowns that we had in this game, was the Andy Dalton touchdown and the rookie's touchdown. The rest of our drives ended up with 3 points, although they did score on 5 consecutive possessions, but they was only field goals. If you managed to get touchdowns on 2 of those possessions, you probably win this game, or maybe even 1 of those possessions, because it'll be a whole different game. Then you'll be going down for a field goal. But I digress, you know what I mean? So the Saints at the half led the Bengals 14-20. And that was pretty good, right? And I think right before the half, Andy Dalton managed that drive pretty well. Yeah, you would like to get a touchdown in that situation. Like I said, would have changed the game, but he managed to do the drive pretty well. Left the clock with 1 second. I'm sorry I'm all over the place. I'm really disappointed because I'm trying to rush and get to that last play of the goddamn game. We got to talk about that. Boy. All right. The beginning of the third, I felt as if we was getting some Taysom Hill overuse, right? Like the Bengals was on it. Like, think about it. The last couple of times Taysom Hill touched the ball, he really and truly didn't do much with it. I think only 1 play out of the last 6 times that Taysom Hill touched the ball, he did anything with it. I felt as if every time Andy Dalton stood in there and made a good play, got us the first down, Dennis Allen kind of went to some trickery stuff, and it kind of throws off the whole play calling ideal. You know what I mean? You go with what works here. Don't get me wrong, the run game was working, but I feel as if a lot of times in the game, Dennis Allen didn't put the ball in Andy Dalton's hand in the right situation, right? You know what I mean? Like he just got the first down, bam. Next thing you know, you put Taysom Hill in there, trick play. Now you're 2nd and 10. You know, you got to stop using Taysom Hill so much. So we had a sloppy third quarter, and this is one of the things that cost us the game. Minus, you know, all the other bull crap that was going on the field. You know, I mean, I feel as if we had some other calls in there that didn't get called, and I'm going to get to that when I get to the end of these notes. All right, so let's see here. Where we going? We had a bad punt in the fourth quarter, put the Bengals at the 40-yard line. Then, right out the gun, here come goddamn Joe Burrow to Jamal Chase, 60-yard touchdown. The defense was missing tackles all game, right? I was like, what the hell are you doing all of a sudden? Suddenly, you cannot tackle. Last game, you was tackling. Game before that, you was tackling. This game here, the damn Bengals was just slithering through their damn hands. I don't understand that. So, that puts us in position pretty much to still win this game. It was 20-6. So, here comes Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton had a couple of missteps on this drive. I'm not going to sit up here and act like it's perfect because we don't have all our wide receivers, but I'm not making no excuses for Andy Dalton. But he did still make some good throws in this play, in this drive. But I feel as if when it comes down to the last play, why the hell wasn't pass interference called? Now, people are going to say, well, their legs got tripped up. But when you really go back and look at the play, the thing that trips Callaway is Eli Apple's body. Now, look, I'm not making no excuses here. But shit like that has to be talked about. Just think about it. If it was a Saints defender who tripped a receiver with his body, what the hell you think was going to be the outcome of that play? Think about that for a second, Saints fans. This game of football just doesn't like us. You know what I mean? Like any other team, they would have gave that PI to. And I kept seeing all through the game, they could have called PI on the Bengals multiple times, right? They didn't call it, right? And you could also say that the whole game they didn't call pass interference, right? They was probably trying to keep it fair amongst the two teams. But when you got a play, last play of the game, and I'm not saying that it's okay for any team to get pass interference just looked over, because I really didn't see any pass interference from the Saints side of the ball, but I would say I've seen a lot from the Bengals side of the ball. But you got the last play of the game's on the line, receiver gets tripped by the defender, and here it is. You don't pull a flag. The NFL really needs to take a look at its rule book, because it's not fair to me. It's not fair to anyone watching the game, right? You got people who's just watching the game because they love the game of football. But plays like that ruins the game of football. Now, I know the Saints have fell to 2-4, and it's looking very drastic right now because we can't get nothing going. It seems like when the offense is doing good, the defense is sloppy. You know, you really think about it all, the offense did enough to win that game. They really did. They did enough. Even though they could have scored touchdowns, they did enough to win that game. The defense, however, they lost us this game. They refused to tackle. They refused to cover the ball, the guy who's just coming across the field. Like, who job is it to get the check down? Right? Think about that for a second. So you guys, let me know what you thought about the game in the comments below. And also, just remember, we're 2-4. We're really not out of it. Still the beginning of the season. Hopefully things could turn around for us this Thursday against the Arizona Cardinals. Although I would say if we lose this game against the Cardinals, all hope for the season is lost. You need to go on the roll, and you need to have that roll going as soon as possible. You guys, let me know in the comments below.